You know what RuneScape players love? Self-imposed pain, also known as some variation of snowflake locked restricted extreme one chunk ultimate Ironman accounts. To tell you the truth, I'm no different. Addicted to the grind and a little special as they say, so these accounts have always fascinated me. If you can think of an area around RuneScape, then there's probably an account region locked there right this minute. I figured I would give it a go, so I sat down to think up an idea for an account that would be fun to play and watch, one that would test my patience, one that would be extreme as any other out there, and this is what I came up with. The Extreme Every Chunk Ironman from scratch, also known as a regular Ironman, because, you can access every chunk in the game. Yeah, that was kind of the best that I had. But in all seriousness, as much as I love the custom restricted accounts, there was something enticing about just giving a regular Ironman experience a go. Ironman has been officially out for almost 9 years, and the game has changed dramatically since then. The experience of building up an Ironman is entirely different to what it once was, and so I thought it would be cool to put it on show. So here we are, 6 months later after I released my first video, and JuicyBeet is still going strong. Since it's been half a year, I thought it would be a good time to just sum up what we've accomplished so far. As past me once mumbled into the mic, I've always enjoyed seeing endgame content creators bank videos and that progression over the years. I think it'd be pretty cool to have something like that for myself that I can look back on in the future just to see how far I've come. That was painful to listen to. Thank goodness I've gotten better at speaking to the microphone. As I was saying in the clip there, a big motivator for the videos was just to have something to look back on into the future. Whether or not people watched it, I just wanted to have a little journal of what my progression was like. So without further ado, let's jump in and see what we have actually managed to do over the last 6 months. So here we are, in good old Lumbridge where all great stories begin. Just to clarify again, this is JuicyBeet, the regular old Ironman, no group Ironman, hardcore, ultimate, anything like that, just the plain old Ironman. So to kick things off, we'll have a quick look at the combat level. You can probably get a rough idea from seeing my health and prayer up here, but we're still sitting in that early to mid game range, just at a casual little 66 combat. I hope these guys over here are proud of me. Okay, now for some of the more fun things to look at. Let's have a look at the skills and where we've got to. So 1347 total level, almost hit the 1350. Maybe I should have knocked that out before this video. But as you can see, we've got a nice spread of skills. Pretty much everything we've started training now, and we've hit the base 60s on quite a few skills here. So the obvious standout is of course the 99 fire making. That was our first 99 on the account. We smashed out really early. Yes, it was the typical old Wintertodt grind. I know I said things have changed since Ironman have released, and I guess technically speaking, Wintertodt wasn't out when Ironman was released, but it's been out for that long that it's pretty much synonymous with the game mode. Not everything can change though, unfortunately. Some methods are just good forever. So one of the other big skilling grinds we did early on was a fair bit of fishing, and we did quite a lot of this at Temperos so that we could build up some early construction and jewelry supplies as well as get ourselves a decent chunk of food. These days fishing has been my go-to AFK activity. We're just doing barbarian fishing at Mount Quidamorton. That way we can build up our strength and agility in the background. We've barely really trained agility directly. It's mostly been barbarian fishing. A couple of other skills we haven't really touched is runecrafting and Slayer. We haven't got deep into those grinds yet. A lot of that's just been passive experience from quests and also recently tiers of Gothics. I think the other big skill so far is our 65 farming. We just hit 65 very recently. That's actually a minor spoiler for the next episode, but it's not a big deal. We've been doing medium contracts with our botanical pies for a while, but now that we've got 65, we can do it a lot more easy. We don't have to boost for it anymore, and that's just a really big milestone for the account because those contracts are absolutely essential to Ironman to get seeds and to work on the herb lore in the long run. Our other sort of highest skill is thieving right there, which we did pretty early on the account. Blackjacking is actually a great way to build up some early coin. Well, I can't believe I got stunned. That's just quite embarrassing for the video, I must say. But what I was saying was we did blackjacking early on to build up some cash, and it's just a good way to get up cash when you don't have any sort of resources or other skills to work with. So as I was just saying, quests are also a big part of getting any account started in RuneScape. They're pretty much an absolute core and fundamental to building a good, solid, well-rounded account. Like a fair few players, I think quests aren't my favorite thing. Even with the Runelight Quest Helper plugin, at least that's made it a lot more bearable, but I'm pretty proud of where we've got the account up to so far. So we have over 100 quests completed. We just hit that triple figures really recently, which is pretty awesome and nice to have checked off the account. A really good little milestone. And we're closing in on 200 quest points as well. I just realized actually that the game is almost up to 300 with the release of Desert Treasure 2. It's getting pretty scary to look at now. We've knocked out all our free-to-play quests, and as you can see as we scroll down, we've got quite a good spread of quests done. Obviously, there's some of the big mega quests like Desert Treasure 2, which just came out, Sins of the Fathers, Song of the Elves, that type of stuff, but in terms of everything that leads up to it, we're doing pretty well for ourselves. Recipe for Disaster is probably one of the next big targets. We just recently finished Monkey Madness, so we can start working towards wrapping this up. Also, Throne of Miscellanea is the next big one we're working towards. We just got to finish knocking out Heroes Quest, which we've got all the requirements for, and this will give us access to a whole bunch of free resources, which is pretty much essential on any Ironman account. One day I'll be able to teleport here. One day I'll have that quest cape. So something that goes hand in hand with quests is our achievement diaries, and we've been trying to knock out as many as we can as we travel around the map to do our quests and do our skilling so that we're not backtracking too much in the future and we can just be a little bit more efficient with it. We have been tracking really well with our diaries actually. We've got 4 of the easy diaries completely done plus the medium barrack diary, and as you can see quite a few of the other easy diaries are pretty much wrapped up. And we've started making some progress on our medium hard diaries as we travel around the game. So that's coming along really, really nicely, and it gives us a lot of useful rewards, just like this Ardoin Monastery Cape. One of the most useful teleports in the game. And of course, speaking of random tasks around the game that need to be completed, we've made sure to finish all of our Karen favor, which is incredibly useful and gives us access to some good handy perks in some parts of the game. At this stage so far, probably the most useful one is our Hesidius because it gives us access to a herb patch which never dies and gets disease, so that's really useful for pumping out our rare seeds like our Raynars and Snapdragons that we don't want to risk losing. So thanks to one of the best updates in the game, at least if you enjoy all your stats and login information, which let's be honest is pretty much every RuneScape player, we have this nice little tab which summarizes everything that we've just been through. Like I said, over 100 quests completed, over 200 achievement diaries, almost halfway there. You can also see we've knocked out a few combat tasks. These are mostly around our Temporos and Wintertodt grinds. Those we just sort of knocked out as we were going. So we've got all the Temporos done, and we did most of the Wintertodt while we were there. And then there's just a couple of other miscellaneous bits and pieces. In terms of collection logs, you know, we're a far cry off the 1476, but you know, we're doing what we can. We've made a start. A good chunk of it comes from the random events, and then there's just a bunch of random stuff, whether it be mini games and other stuff like that. We've got our rogues den, our fishing trawler, just other random little miscellaneous bits and pieces like that, and we're slowly chipping away. That'll be something for the longer term grinds, I think, in the future, once we've built out the count a little bit more. We'll have a look at the time played at the end of the video, but for now, let's go check out the bank, probably the last big main attraction that we all want to see. And here we are, back where it all began. We started our journey burning some of those logs over there 6 months ago, and now we're here recording a video of our progress. It's amazing how time flies. But let's get straight into the bank reveal. We are at 17.2 million GP, which I must say was actually quite a surprise to me when I sat down to start preparing this video. To be honest, I never really looked at the bank value on this account because it's so early in the game. We haven't done any sort of like big mega boss grinds and rare drops like that, so I wasn't expecting it to be so high, especially since the cash stack is only 1.8 mil, but it's slowly crept its way up there, and I just don't pay attention to it, so it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with that, to tell you the truth. I did a very quick rough tidy up just to get a general idea of what's going on here. So you can see we've got a lot of our runes. I suspect, you know, we've got a decent amount of value coming from these death runes. This is just trading in our kittens over time. We've got most of our teleports, just our core jewelry at the moment. We recently got the Ecto file, plus like I said, our Ardoin cape from the diary and our lunar staff, which is quite handy for us right now. We've got our magic secateurs, which is very handy. And in here, you can see we've started slowly building up our seed stash thanks to our seed contracts. We've got a good mix of herb seeds. One of the things I'm most excited about actually is we've got 5 spirit seeds already. We can't even plant these yet, but we're going to need 6 in total for the main spirit tree patches, so we're well on our way before we even need them. We've started to grab some Hesperia seeds as well now, so we'll start that grind soon enough. In terms of herbs, I haven't really bothered to sort out all the potions and that because we pretty much have no potions at this point in time, but we're starting to build up our little Raynar stash here for the prayer potions you can see. And then everything else is sort of just random little bits and pieces because we're not too deep into our farming grind yet. Now, normally on most accounts, the gear tab would be the big highlight reel, but we're still sort of in our early mid-game grind, struggling through with whatever we can. This is my main sort of melee gear, it's just the basic rune set. Our magic gear, we just got our Iban staff and we're using that with our Tome of Fire, which we were very lucky. You can see we actually got 2 of those from Wintertodt, as well as a Tome of Water from Temporos as well. So we're doing pretty well there. And then our range gear is just some basic green D hide and some Dorgashan crossbows or whatever bow we're using at the time. And we have finished Desert Treasure 1, so we've got our ancient staff here. We've got our little diary reward from Karen, so yeah. It's pretty bare bones, but it's getting the job done for now. Food tab is nothing too fancy, just our fish and that, mostly from Temperos. I'm surprised it's 3.5 mil actually. I guess that's where a lot of the bank value is coming from. These sturgeons we're saving up because we can actually train Herblore with them using Barbarian mixers, so it's just a handy little boost of Herblore XP for Ironman, so it's something to look forward to in the future. And in here we've just got a mix and match of all our random sort of skilling gear that we've collected so far. So we've done the full angler outfit. I just realized my pants are missing. I'm not sure which tab I put those ones in. And of course, the big highlight of the account is our double dragon axes. We got both of these for Wintertide. I'll put a link to the video on screen when he got those. That was a good day. It made me believe in YouTube like actually being a thing. It was more reason to keep doing the videos after that. We also got pretty lucky. We got ourselves a fish barrel, tackle box, and a good bit of loot from Temperos. Unfortunately, no pets from either of those tasks, but I can't really complain after the axes and whatnot. In our resource tab at the moment, just some basic logs and ores and that, mostly all from Wintertide, nothing too fancy in here. And in here, we're sort of just storing up all our jewelry related items. Again, most of this is from Temperos, plus just bits and pieces of gems from around the game. And then in here, this is sort of the last mix and match of random stuff that I'm planning to go put into my house once I've built up the costume room. All these items can go in the house, so it's just so when I want to make space in my bank later on, I'll remember what to take there. But it's mostly just our random event items and a lot of the Shazian armor which we've knocked out so far. So yeah, that's pretty much the summary of the bank. 17 mil, I must say I'm pretty happy with that in all things considered. It has built up, like I said, quite nicely, and we've got a few nice little items in there like the dragon axes and whatnot. But I'm hoping by next time we do one of these progress videos, we'll have really started to get stuck into the Slayer grinds and the boss grinds, and this will start to be one of the highlights of the video. I'm really looking forward to some of those grinds in the future. For the longest time, all I'd really played in RuneScape was a main account, and I played this game for a good 15 plus years or so, and I kept telling myself it was too late to start an Ironman. I sort of missed the boat. I didn't want to get stuck into it. But I must say I'm really glad that I've gotten into it. It's been a lot of fun, and having you guys all here watching on the videos, it just made it that extra little bit special, and I just can't thank you all enough. I really do appreciate it, and the support has been just absolutely immense, and I can't thank you, like I said, just can't thank you enough. It's made it a completely different experience to just playing through the account by myself, and it's been an absolute blast. But alas, let's have a quick little peek at the time played. Drumroll, please. 15 days and 8 hours. It makes me kind of sad thinking about that. There was once upon a time I could grind out 16 hours a day, but I think this averages out to only 2 or 3 hours a day played in real lifetime. So, life happens these days, but I kind of miss the old uni days. It was good fun back then. It's been a blast looking back on everything so far over the last 6 months, but it's time to wrap it up. So please drop a like on the video if you enjoyed this little look back. It's greatly appreciated and it really helps me out. Drop a sub if you want to follow along the journey as we keep moving forward. Previous episode on screen. And as always, guys, have a good one. See ya.